Welcome back, everybody. In this video, I'm just going to take you around to the food plots and give you a little update and show you how everything's doing. Right now we're on Carl's food plot, which we planted, it was on Sunday, so that would have been, today's Thursday, 4 days ago. And we are seeing some germination out here. Some of the brassicas coming up. I'll show you where I seen some over here a second ago. Just coming out of the ground. I don't know how good you can see that, but that right there is little brassicas that are coming up. There's another one right there. There's a couple of them. You can see those a lot better, but it's planted this stuff only 4 days ago, and we've got germination out here, which is great. This is going to be an absolutely awesome spot for Carl. He's going to set up a hunting shanty probably right there where that woods jets out from the tracks, so you can access it right from the railroad tracks here and get in and out undetected. And this is a really good spot with no food plot down here with this creek bottom. Now he's got some food out here that, you know, these deer can hug down there in the thicket next to the creek and bed, and then sneak out here for a bite to eat, you know, thinking that they're in the clear when in fact they're not. Carl spread a bunch of extra oats over here the other day. He had some spillage on the field up the road on ours, and took what was left and just spread them over here on this wet side of the plot. But looking good. Let's go check out that food plot that I planted the day before last week, and I took and I sprayed it, burned everything out, and then took the neighbor's drag and drug it, and then seeded it down. Let's go see if anything's coming up over there. We got Shane's 22 Creedmoor with us today. There's a couple pictures of woodchucks in my food plot, and we can't have that, so we're gonna get rid of those, and then we're gonna put some bow hangers and tree hangers up in some of the tree stands that need them yet. So we got a little work to do this morning, but we'll get her done. I'm gonna get a bow hanger up in that stand. Kaylee and I came and put that up a few weeks ago. It's overlooking this gator path down here in Cherry Ridge. This goes to the duck blind, and here's one of those vines I tied up here to that branch for a scent post for the deer that come through here. Be interesting to see. I don't have a camera up over it yet, but I will, and show everybody all the deer that use that. But when I parked my gator here, look at the size of this bear track going through this. Looks like it was running. Right there, and then right there. That's a pretty darn good sized bear. I'll show you it compared to my boot. It was running when it went through there. Let's go ahead and get this hanger hung up there. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that, and then we'll hang one of these up there for my backpack or whatever. Got the hangers in place. Now we got another stand we're gonna do the same thing with, just down the way here. Okay, we made it over here to my little unconventional food plot, and we've got germination in here too. See right there, there's a brassica coming up. Right there's another one that's coming up. Right there's some. Didn't kill all these weeds as much as I was hoping it would. but we've got a little germination in here, which is a good sign. Hopefully the brassica overtakes the weeds, outcompetes them here, but we'll see. It was kind of a fun experiment to see how it works. I'll keep everybody updated on how it's doing. There's a couple that are coming up really good already. Right there and there. There's another one. So it's starting. You can see where I knocked all this grass was dead and it all got knocked down, and you can see where that brassica seed had fallen right through all this dead stuff, and it's coming up right there through the middle of it. So that's a good sign. Got decent germination over in this far corner of the food plot here, but I don't know how it's gonna do. It's gonna be important that the brassica takes off before all these weeds do. Weed control is just a huge aspect of planting and maintaining good food plots, and you can't have these weeds taking over. So that's what it's going to come down to. This brassica really has to take off and outcompete everything, all these weeds. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it works. Either way, it was a good experiment, and I'll have learned along the way. Let's go check on some other food plots that I know look a lot better than this one. Okay, we made it down the road. This is a food plot that's tucked right into the edge of the red brush, where all of our mature bucks end up during rifle season. That get pressured, and they feel safe in this super thick brush that you really can't even walk through that. It's like you'd have to crawl to get through it. Believe me, I know from years and years ago when our family used to drive the deer out of here on opening day. They'd send me in the backside and my little cousins and whatnot, and we'd have to come through, and all the deer would run out and everybody would shoot at everything. And so I've been through there a few times, and it's terrible. But nowadays, you know, obviously we stay out of there. We don't go in there. It's like a sanctuary to the deer. And putting all this food right next to it gives them deer an opportunity to have an awesome food source right next to their bedding, and they really don't have to leave. I mean, they can bed in there, you know, feed. They have water in there from the beaver swamp, and they really don't have to leave. And we have a strip food plot, which I'll show you next, is a really good transition spot. It's just a strip food plot that goes right through the middle of all this red brush, and those deer, if they bed on the other side, they go through it coming out to these plots right before dark, or vice versa. They'll just hop out into it right before dark thinking they're safe because of that cover. And you'll get opportunities like Kaylee had with kickers last year. And then with me, I shot a deer that I called Ghost that was doing the same thing. And a lot of you guys probably remember the G2 buck. The G2 buck lived in here year after year until during the rut he ventured off and got whacked. But this brush holds more big deer every year. You wouldn't imagine. We have a really nice buck this year. We call it the Browtine buck. Some of you guys probably remember him from last year. That Kaylee was actually hunting with a muzzleloader, and he was hitting this food plot right here. So we figured he was obviously bedding in the red brush, and we were hunting him from the hunting shanty up there, trying to catch him transitioning through that strip food plot to get out here at night. Well, the whole time I was getting pictures of him on this food plot right after dark. I mean, just after dark, to the point where I knew that it was just a matter of time before he was going to make a mistake and come across that food plot in there and give Kaylee a shot. Well, ended up Kaylee never got an opportunity at that deer. And it was the day after muzzleloader. We were sitting in the house, and unbelievable. Here come that big brow tine buck right across the bottom of our pasture here in the field. The whole time he had been bedding over there on Brian's and crossing this entire field and the road and coming to this food plot from over there. And had we been sitting in the house hunting, Kaylee probably would have been able to kill that buck, but it was a blessing in disguise because the buck exploded. He's huge this year. His home turf is over on the neighbors. He doesn't spend any time on ours at all early season, but if he makes it through, you know, the archery and rifle season, and it gets to muzzleloader season, it gets cold and snowy, he's gonna end up right here again. And at that point, that gives us an opportunity to kill him. But this food plot is growing like crazy. Just take a look at that. That is luscious. Had the seed rate like right on the money on that. You can see the deer already browsing the heck out of it. I was watching them out here the other night eating it. See that? They're nipping a lot of it off already. Can't be tasting very good right now, but man, this is looking really, really good. Like I said, we can't even really hunt this food plot. This is just a food plot that we have. We put a lot of food right next to this bedding in here to hold these deer when the pressure comes, and it works. And if for some reason I get home late from work, I can actually see pretty much the whole food plot right from that window right there, which is obviously fun to watch a bunch of deer out in here. Let's go check on the strip food plot. Gator's fixed, thanks to Denton. We're back in working order, but our four-wheel drive is having some issues, so it might be getting work on it again here soon. That woodchuck's gonna die. We can't have any woodchuck holes right in the middle of our food plot like that. Unreal. We're gonna kill that bugger here shortly. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Here's the strip food plot. You can see we got lots of brassica growing out in here. Looks like the deer, or coons or something's been after the corn already. But that's really starting to explode right there in the middle. I think these edges will take off here shortly. This dirt was a little more poofy right here where I turned a bunch of times, and you can see the difference where I went over it just a few times with the rototiller. The dirt was a lot more packed down and stiffer after I rolled it, but this stuff was super turned up and almost like dusty. So even when I rolled it, I couldn't get a good pack on it, but it'll take back off. I think that's why the seeds are a little more sparse in there, not growing quite as good. But boy, they're growing really good out here. Really good. Let's go look at the back where I put that different food plot mix, see what all's coming up out there. You can see back here where the soil pH really took a dive and it gets super wet. We don't have nearly the germination that we have up, you know, in the top half that's good soil and dry. So what I'll do is here the first week of September, I'll get 100 pounds of rye grain, and we're gonna spread this out in here and get a good green crop right here in the back. So it's not gonna be dirt. Well, that rye grain will grow like crazy on this wet ground back here, and the deer really do like eating it. Last year, my brassica crop got pretty much ruined in this food plot because of we had like 2 weeks of torrential downpours, and it really got wet in here, and Nebraska didn't take off. So I came in here in September and just put a ton, 300 pounds of rye grain on this food plot, and that came up like crazy. And that's actually what the buck, the kickers that Kaylee killed out of the shanty up there was eating when she killed it, when he was coming across here. So we'll just pound this bottom corner with that rye grain and get it greened up. I mean, there's some radish that are growing right there. I don't know what that thing is. The oats. I planted some oats back here that should be coming up, but I don't see them really yet. We'll get stuff in here that'll grow. Doing really good up there though. These apple trees are loaded right here this year too, so that's going to be a big attractant for the deer. You can see the deer tracks all over underneath them where they've been eating all the apples that have been falling. Okay, we're up here to the corner of our gas well piece, and this is a food plot where we've been having some woodchuck issues. So we're going to sneak out around the edge of the corn here with a 22 Creedmoor and hopefully catch one of those little rotten bastards out there in that food plot. Excuse my language, but I don't like woodchucks as it is. And when woodchucks end up in my food plots, they're toast. Let's go send these chucks to their maker. There's that sucker right there. Let me get this camera set up and we're gonna take him out. No Nebraska for you today, you little shithead. Man, it feels good to get that sucker killed. There's another one that's living over here that I need to kill now too. It's a never-ending war with these buggers, but we're gonna keep fighting it. Well, we got another fresh hole right there that we're gonna have to get killed. Look at all these brassicas where they've been nipping all the tops off them. I mean, literally this whole edge is decimated by woodchucks compared to out in the middle. I think I might have to spend a little more time up here. There's another big woodchuck hole right there. There's that rotten sucker. Man, I'm glad I killed that thing. Look at that, all the dirt that it dug out of that hole right there. How's it feel to meet your maker, you little shithead? Right through the neck. That 22 Creed put a good hurting on him. Look at all the dirt that thing took out of that hole. And that thing's been living on my brassica. Look at all the nipped off ends here. Those are all nipped off. Those are all nipped off. I mean, this whole entire edge has been decimated by woodchucks all the way up the side. You can see, like, right, that other woodchuck hole's right there, and look at this perfect spot where that thing's been eaten. There's another woodchuck hole over here that I need to get killed. I mean, look at that, what that woodchuck has done to that food plot right there. Just ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. And that's from this woodchuck eating everything right here. If that don't make you want to puke, I don't know what would. This hole is right here somewhere. This is where the little rascals living. Bunch of holes right here. And he just destroyed this food plot right here. Yep, we're gonna get some traps and we're gonna take care of these problems. I'm not gonna have that. You know, spend so much time, effort, and money into planting these, and look at how much they're eating. I mean, that's all from woodchucks. It's gonna be a bad time to be a woodchuck up here, because I know what's going on, and they're in a world of shit now. The old 22 Creed put a hurting on that woodchuck, but we got a lot more to take care of out here. Rotten suckers, we'll keep our eye out. Let's go check out the next food plot. Now we're over here at the neighbor's food plot. This is a gas well head, obviously. And this is the first year this ever got planted right here. This was all goldenrod brush crap right here. And it's coming up really well, surprisingly. Chris came in here and fertilized it pretty good, and it's actually, I was nervous about it not getting enough light, but it's open enough that it's certainly getting enough light. It's coming up really nice. Got a little strip right there, and they're hunting shanties right in there. You can't even see it. It's behind that tree. They're gonna have to do some limb trimming so they can see this, but this is an awesome spot right here. It's all bedding along this hillside, especially over there. It got all the timber got cut a few years ago, and it's just full of treetops. And there's one big buck in particular that's living right here, and they're gonna have a good opportunity at killing that bugger this year. Yeah, we've planted another one up here at the end of where the road comes out into the field, and that one's doing pretty good on the top side, but over toward the cabin it's not doing so hot. I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, there is a deer that was standing right there the whole time. Didn't even see it. Here's the other food plot, and you can see it's doing pretty darn good up here on the top side, but over there where the old racetrack used to be, the soil is certainly lacking some lime. I think the pH is kind of crappy. It's kind of a clay type soil. Needs more lime next year, I think. Although this is probably one of the coolest food plots in the country. Who has a food plot with a big American flag flying in the middle of it? I like it. This food plot could not grow at all and it'd still be one of my favorites here. Let's go check out the next one. Here's Ian's food plot. It's looking really nice. You can see he had the seed rate right about on the money. Gives plenty of room for those seeds or those plants to express their full potential. This was a really awesome deal last year. He had a ground blind set up right here at the end of it, and he killed a real nice buck up here with his boy with him, Garrett. It came out right there at the end of the food plot and shot it while it was walking out. Kaylee and I had actually seen the buck cross this little wood lot on the edge of our field over there, and he ended up coming over here, and Ian was able to put the smack down on him. So this food plot's in a great spot because of all the deer bed right in here, and as long as there's no pressure in this woods at all, they're super comfortable popping out into these food plots. And I think we're going to be able to hold them. We got a lot of food surrounding this block of timber this year. My neighbor on the other side of me, Tracy, he's got a bunch of food plots that are in. I got, obviously a ton on my side, and then Ian's got this right here. Now we're at our upper farm, or what we refer to as our upper farm. This is, we have a nice acre food plot that's all Nebraska down here that we're gonna check on, but first I want to sneak over this hill because there's a few woodchuck holes on the edge of this that I'd really like to kill. This is a great spot. There's a lot of bedding. This is where I killed my big archery buck last year. It was right over the side hill, and there's a ton of bedding down here. It's just huge swamp, beaver dams, thicker than heck. Just a great spot for a deer to live and grow old down here. We killed, actually the biggest deer we've ever killed on our farm was killed out of that hunting shanty right there in 2009. It was December 9th. It was muzzleloader season, and Uncle John was sitting up here, and two doe had come out, and just this big tank of a 9-point came out. He ended up scoring 141 inches, which is the biggest deer that we've ever killed on our farm. He had lived right down in there all year. I had a few trail camera pictures of him, and he killed him with a muzzleloader. Heck of a deer. But this year we have a lot of pulling power up here. So Carl, this is all new seeding from last year. So this is all clover. The deer are gonna hit this really hard, and then I planted a clover food plot this spring right in front of this hunting shanty right there. Just a little 1/4 acre. And then everything down there is all brassica. So I'm really looking forward to what this year brings up here. Let's grab that 22 Creedmoor and sneak over this hill and see if we can't waylay a woodchuck. I didn't see any woodchucks out there anywhere, but it's their lucky day. You can see I made a mistake with this food plot. I sprayed it once earlier this summer and never got back here and sprayed it again to kill all these weeds. So when I tilled it up, I didn't have a good kill on all these weeds. They should have came in 2 weeks prior to tilling it and sprayed it with glyphosate again and killed all the weeds. So wherever wherever the rototiller hit a rock or something and popped it up in the air a little bit, like in that spot, all those weeds came back and outcompeted that brassica. So that's something, that's a rookie mistake that I made there. I knew better. But we're still going to have a great stand of brassica down there. There's no denying that. It's coming up really well in the middle there. This was an old gas well head that they cleared all this out in this corner, and over the years we've come in and just cleared out more and more each year. And that's made for a great hunting spot. Up here this spring I planted a perennial clover mix. You can see this is all coming up really good. Look at the size of this, absolutely huge. There's a lot of clover in here, so that'll be a good attraction as well. Almost forgot to mention there's a giant apple tree over here that's absolutely loaded with apples, like so much so that there's limbs that are breaking off of it over there. And another one of the great things about this location to rifle hunt this or muzzleloader hunt it is how your access into this shanty here. You can sneak right up over. There's a little hill, crest of a hill right here, so you can't see that from the road at all. And you can sneak right over that hill right into this hunting shanty with this brush at your back. And as soon as you get in there, you can see, this whole bottom, whereas it's your entrance and exit's totally hidden. So you can get in and out of here without causing much problem if you don't make any noise, which is a huge aspect to a good rifle stand. You don't want to bump deer, or any food plot that you're hunting. You don't want to bump deer going in or out of it.
That's gonna do it on this little video, everybody. I'm zooming in on accident. I hope everybody enjoyed that. It was kind of different. I just kind of went around the property showing food plots and talking about different aspects of deer hunting and why we do the things that we do on our property. But I'm going to be posting hit list videos on my Patreon account here shortly. Been getting a lot of questions about what deer I'm going to be targeting and asking about certain bucks from last year that everybody knows lived and deer that I found sheds of. I'll tell you, we're going to have an awesome year of deer hunting. We have some really good deer that made it. I'm tracking all the deer that I found sheds to. They're alive, they're well, they're huntable. And there's a couple really good ones that I'm excited to show you guys. With that, I want to thank all the patrons of the channel. You guys are the reason why I continue to do this and why I can afford to do this. So I thank you for that. And with the hit list videos, I'm going to do, instead of doing all the bucks that we're going to be hunting this year on one video, I'm going to specify each buck with separate segments. So I'm going to do a video for each in particular buck that we're going to be hunting this year. It's cool that I'm going to be able to do that, because with these bucks that we're hunting this year, I have so much history with them, literally years of history with these deer and sheds, some of them from multiple years, and trail camera and video camera footage of deer that we've passed, you know, in the last few years. I have so much history with these bucks now that I'm going to do a single video for each buck that I'm going to put on the hit list this year. So if you guys are interested in seeing some of those videos, feel free to become a patron of the channel. It's just supporting the videos for $3 a month. If you guys want to see those videos and become a patron of the channel, I really appreciate it. I can't thank you guys enough for that. And we'll see you on the next video. Have a good one, everybody.